Yet another shakeup in the president's cabinet is now expected any day. The source tells CNN that Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin will be the next to go. In recent weeks, tensions between Shulkin and the White House have grown, became public in the wake of damaging government investigations into Shulkin's alleged spending abuses. To discuss this, I'm joined by Paul Rieckhoff. He's the founder and CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Paul, thanks for joining us. Clearly, you've been a very close observer of the Veterans Administration for more than a decade. In your opinion, what kind of job has Shulkin done?
It's been a bumpy few weeks, Wolf. I mean, overall, the big concern here is drama, drama, drama. You know, if there wasn't so much else happening in Washington this week, this would probably be front page news. Shulkin has received pretty good marks in the first year from veterans groups and others, but in the last few weeks, with multiple IG reports and now the political infighting, it's been a very tough time for him. We asked our members what they think. We've got about 400,000 members who are all post 9/11 veterans, and only about 24% of them right now support his performance. So he's had a tough couple of weeks. He's very much under fire right now, and I think, unfortunately, veterans are caught in the middle again. And if you look back, this is pretty much what has happened for VA secretaries a lot lately. You know, Obama lost Shinseki, Bush lost Nicholson. It's been a very turbulent decade and a half for the VA in general, and again, veterans are caught in the middle.
So what do you think? Should Shulkin be fired by the president?
Our members are very unhappy. I mean, we as an organization haven't taken a formal position here, but I can tell you that talking to veterans across the country, you know, his stock continues to plummet. And if he is in this position right now where he's got political infighting all around him, he may be paralyzed. So I think the president has a very important decision to make right now. One reason why Shulkin's got so much support is he is a moderate holdover. So many veterans groups are concerned that if he does get knocked out, the person who follows him could be much more extreme. And this is also really about a bigger political fight, which is for the future of the VA, the soul of the VA. There's tremendous fighting happening in Washington around whether or not to expand privatization of what is the second largest bureaucracy in the federal government. So we're talking about $200 billion and over 300,000 employees. It's a massive part of our federal government that most folks aren't usually tracking on.
As you know, the president has floated the idea of moving the Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, over to the Veterans Affairs Department. There have been a whole bunch of other names that have come forward as well. What do you think among those names, including Rick Perry? Who do you like?
Well, our members are all folks, men and women who served since post 9/11, so we really like to see someone from our generation, someone who can break through partisan gridlock, someone who understands the wounds and issues of a new generation. 20% of our members are women, so we'd like to see someone who can support women veterans. I think the it's been like musical chairs. We've gotten so many names flying around. It's all instability. And I think that's really the bigger concern from our diverse membership is this is really unstable. And if you're trying to get your GI Bill check paid or you're trying to go in for voc rehab, this impacts your life. So we need stabilization, and we need the VA to be kind of an oasis of stability and bipartisanship. And right now it's in the crosshairs of a lot of nasty fighting that's hurting veterans.
Let me switch gears and get your thoughts on this case involving Miguel Perez. He's a U.S. Army veteran. He served 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, and he was actually deported to Mexico last week. Perez came to the United States legally when he was only 8 years old, but his citizenship was denied because of a felony drug conviction. Perez said his PTSD led to drugs and alcohol, didn't get the help he needed from the Department of Veterans Affairs. So what's your opinion? Should Perez have been deported?
Well, I don't think so personally. I think if you ask most of our members, they'd want to see, you know, a path for him that focuses on treatment. This is a guy who clearly has wounds of war, who suffers with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I don't think any of us want to see our returning heroes thrown out like the trash, you know, or across a border. You know, the politics of deportation are obviously front and center, but when it zeroes in on a veteran who served 2 combat tours, it may bring to light how some of these policies are short-sighted. I know Senator Tammy Duckworth herself, a wounded combat veteran, has taken up his case and has asked for an allowance here. And I think most veterans want to see more treatment on mental health, more lenient and more accommodating justice system. Veterans courts have been very popular among the veterans community, and we'd like to see a pathway of understanding and support rather than just making our troops feel disposable.
Paul Rieckhoff, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf. Appreciate the attention on the